need to... Alright, so balancing is good. I'm just going to make sure I've got my safety saves. Yes, I do. I have my safety saves where I need them. So, this is Nayuta Boundless Trails. If you haven't heard of this game, I frankly don't blame you. If you have heard of this game, it's probably beef trash-talking it. This is an action RPG spin-off of the Trails series in the vein of Zwei and Ys. It's sort of an eclectic mesh of all three games brought together in this really tasty potluck-style stew. But enough about my rambling. You're here for gameplay. You're here to see me bumble my hearts out. So, I'll be running this on beginner mode because I am a scrub, and without further ado, I'll be getting things going in 3, 2, 1... Right off the bat, we are introduced to our main protagonist, Astro Boy Extraordinaire Nayuta Herschel, not in any way related to Toa Herschel of Trails of Cold Steel, unless you subscribe to a particular crack theory out there. Anyway, he really likes stargazing, so much so that he decided to put a telescope on this game's logo. He really, really likes his little hobby. He's just come back from a foreign semester abroad, and together with his brother, Signa... Wait, no, not brother, this is a JRPG. They've set up a little business that they run just the two of them to make ends meet in their lovely little town of Remnant Isle. Anyway, related to Herschel... Go back to watching Urinating Tree, my dude. Anyway, that's Eartha. She's best girl. Do not fight me on this, or I will murder you. She's been taking care of Nayuta ever since his parents died, because he's a JRPG protagonist, and thus his parents are obligated to die at some point. This intro cutscene is just some expository banter about Nayuta's stargazing. The really interesting part about this town is that occasionally you get these little star fragments that fall from the ground, and you can analyze them in a sort of microscope thingamajigger. And you can get little magical images that appear inside, and they make Nayuta all happy inside. So he likes collecting them. In fact, they have a whole cavalcade of them in his attic. Why is this related to the main story? Stick around for 5 more minutes, trust me, please. Fall from the ground? I'm not good at English, Spofford. Fall from the sky. I was told I'm going to manually translate the entire game as it was going. Sorry, I'm not Dowolf. I do not have that level of proficiency, and even if I did, there is no way on God's green earth I'm going to be able to read the text that fast. Hey, Dowolf, you're around. You want to hop in a voice call? I really need to pay attention to the game here. You are noticing me dodge rolling, you're also noticing me dodge rolling poorly, and that's because my mic is covering half of the screen. I should really think my layouts through before I commit to these things. This prologue is pretty much just a tutorial to get you used to the game's various mechanics. Like here, we're making a lunchbox for the guard standing post at the town square. Because in all of his 30-something years of life, he doesn't know how to make his own lunch. That's relatable. So that is a mechanic that Eartha can do in this game. She can make you lunchboxes that you can either store in your own little lunchbox collection, or you can eat them immediately for some experience points, harkening back to Zwei. The next little tutorial mission we have to do involves our mentor figure, Orvis, who's here to teach us the basics of the sword. Despite the fact that, for the most part, we already know them. Shut up, beef. One thing you might notice off the bat is that you have a double jump immediately upon the start of the game, which is unusual for a Falcom action RPG. Usually it's an unlockable. But not to worry. Nayuta Boundless Trails has its fair share of unlockables in strange and obscure ways as well. Are they fruit-flavored bentos? There are all sorts of bentos. There is a wide variety of bentos that we can create. Hi, Mishi. Not at all. Yes, this is PlayStation. PlayStation Portable. I'm playing on a PlayStation TV for better output quality, and the fact that I get to use my Sega Saturn controller. So the thing with this cutscene is this pink-haired girl is unimportant, and there's a really cool star fragment. Let's check it out. Oh god, that's big. So that just happened. The guard Dorado doesn't want to let us through, but we're JRPG protagonists, so we get a free pass into the area, and oh goodness, that's not a star fragment, it's a giant tower. Nayuta certainly knows how to up the ante. Dowolf, why are you saying Lyra is the best girl when clearly it's a contest between Eartha and Booty? Like, come on, man. So this is our first actual level. We've got these little things of crystals on the floor. Those are your money. They're not too important right now. And some trash mobs to take care of. Dowolf, I'm not buying the really 700 years old excuse for Noi. Get your hands off of her. Some stage obstacles to break here. What? Waifu is a banned term in this chat? So anyway, this just teaches us about the mechanics of the game. I'm trying to figure out. I've lost my train of thought and I don't think I'm getting it back. More trash mobs to take care of. I've clipped inside a trampoline. That tends to happen sometimes. Ooh, nice speed tech. But yeah, those crystals of money are not important right now, but one neat mechanic is that they'll increase in value the farther along the game you go. So the crystals are worth 1 mira in this stage. In later stages, they can be worth 2, 3, 5, even 10 mira a pop. So they progressively become a better way of earning money. As we get serenaded by a track that Masanori Osaki ripped off from Xenosaga, we encounter our next bit of plot. This is Noi. You might have heard Dowolf talking about her. She's a very popular girl, as evidenced by these two... I'm not entirely sure what they are, coming to steal her beloved MacGuffin. As the bilinear filter on the PSP emulator within the PSTV shows its full might. We get a quick duel between sword boys. That masked dude goes Jenna in the most edgy fashion possible. And we kidnap Noi and take her back to our house. So Noi floats, which is cool, and she floats out of our house, which is not cool. Turns out the tree was a door all along, and we get greeted to Overwhelming Feelings, one of the best soundtracks in the game, brought to you by Takahiro Unisuga. It plays 3 times in the game, all of which are completely underutilized, and I forever hate Falcom for it. Welcome to Lost Heaven. It's that thing that we had been seeing in those star fragments that we had been gazing at. Bit of dash rolling there. We realize we can't climb the tower yet, so we stop our trudge here, and that's the prologue. The keen-eyed among you may remember that this map actually still exists within the unused data of Trails to Azure. Bit of a neat tidbit there. We've got a sleeping, living MacGuffin that we can't really do anything with right now, so instead we're going to turn to the annoying girl who will give us our instructions on what to do next, what exactly this place is, and why I have a V10 strapped to my mouth. This place effectively serves as your hub for the first half of the game, until things go very, very sour. That's about an hour and a half from now. And this is our big ol' hub world. Welcome to Terra. Not to worry, I'm staying hydrated. I'm actually kind of sweating because I'm drinking too much. I should probably stop that. Nayuta, unlike many other Falcom action RPGs, is broken up into a very strict level system. Each area, which in this case would be Otapia, has a total of 4 levels. And additionally, each level has special objectives to complete that reward you with stamps upon completing the level. These stamps become an incredibly important part of the run, because you can trade in those stamps to your master Orvis in Remnant Island to learn new techniques for both Nayuta and Noi. It's so pivotal, in fact, that I have to keep track of what stamps I earn in what levels, because I have to earn a total of 36 by a specific point in the run. You may also see me indiscriminately killing specific enemies, which seems like it loses me time, but if you'll look at the bottom left corner of the screen, you'll notice that I actually have something called a chain going on. Chains have various effects that help me in battle. With a chain of 20 attacks or more without getting hit, I gain a strength buff. With a chain of 40, I get a magic buff, and with a chain of 60, I get a buff to my money upon defeating enemies. You'll also notice me hitting those crystals, which give me extra money. Those tie into another stamp requirement. Every stage has a total of 3 giant money crystals and 1 or 2 treasure chests. Acquiring all of those earns you an additional stamp, in addition to 1 for completing the stage proper, and another for a special stage-specific objective, which, in this case, is killing 10 enemies. Having fulfilled all those requirements, I get to earn my 3 stars and move on. That'll be the gist of the first half of this run. On to stage 2 now, we have another cutscene explaining the intro mechanics, and if you notice these going at a very choppy frame rate, it's not you, it's the game. The game has a very powerful, I want to say, turbo feature, similar to Ys and Legend of Heroes games from the same time. However, the PSP cannot handle the speed, so the frame rate tanks to compensate. Oh, am I gonna keep this chain? Yes! I would like to have a chain for this upcoming fight. Because we got a mini-boss coming up, and he is a big boy. Take note of that gear above his head. Solid fight, and yeah, this game basically is Zwei 3. It's Zwei 3 with the Kaseki moniker slapped on it because Zwei 2 bombed sales-wise. which is a shame, because Vaitu was really good. Can you switch to your friend dude? You control both of them at the same time. I attack with Nayuta with circle, and Noi with square. So no switching required. I'm just going to kill some more enemies for the experience here. Oh, your brother. No, you cannot control him. He's just there for flavor. Can I keep this chain? Yes! Chains become increasingly important for money down the line, particularly one very tight money gate in Chapter 3 that I need to mind. Sometimes you'll also see me spamming my magic for no particular reason. And that's because the more you use magic, the more it levels up. So that's always nice. On to stage 3, the requirement for which is breaking 25 stage objects. Yet another thing I need to keep mind of is when I break a stage object, sometimes a little item will come out of it, and I need to collect a certain amount of those to hit a money gate in Chapter 3. I'll explain that in more detail later. Some tricky jumps there. I'll also be earning each of the 3 money crystals and the chest in this stage to boost my stamp total. Just gonna bop these guys. Got some more objects to break over here. This art I picked up from the mini-boss is nice because it will pass through any objects that it hits, so I can use it to destroy stage objects without having to slow down. It also does a pretty good job at targeting enemies. This chest contains a little item for Noi. I'm gonna check to make sure I have stage objects. I do. Gonna hit that guy to refresh my chain for this upcoming fight. We got some draggy boys. Fortunately, the strength chain lets us easily deal with them. This here is an administrator. You can't really tell because he's sealed within a little magical prison thing. We'll be coming to rescue him later, don't worry about it. It's not like he's hurt in there or anything. But yeah, we'll be visiting him in the next chapter to tie up that loose end. And with that, we've made our way through the first 3 stages of Otapia. Well said, Heldu. There are a total of 36 stamps that I need to collect by the end of Chapter 4. So, the route for this game was formed heavily with that requirement in mind, in addition to a couple others. This here is Otapia Temple. And the big bad of this story seems to have done something strange with it, causing Signa to give chase. Unfortunately, he's no longer in that party. Fortunately, he wasn't doing anything anyway. Into Otapia Temple we go. I'm going to try to passively level. Level 2 would be nice, and it seems I have achieved it. Get this crystal here for extra money. Kill that dude so that I get a strength up. Temple stages are very long and have lots of mini-boss fights interspersed between them, so it's very important to keep up a chain, especially if you're going for a money gate. Kill those two dudes for some extra XP. It would be nice if I could get a 60 chain, but that's not necessarily a requirement. Slowly make my way around that guy. This guy could do a cheeky hit on me. Okay, I'm good. Unfortunately, there's no way to phase through these gates. I've tried dodge rolling through them a million times, but it doesn't really work. So I've got to go the slow route. Kill that guy while I'm at it, because I would have made the cycle anyway. Kill that dude, get some nice stage drops. Stage drops aren't too terribly important yet, but any amount of extra money I can get is money I will gladly take. Got some more enemies. That was a very solid first half of the temple, which hopefully will help quell the incredible deluge of nerves I'm suffering right now. Turns out Signa went to give chase to evil bad guy and swordy sword dude, and they have a fight that somehow has better animation than the entirety of CS1. Fight me. Meanwhile, we've entered Phase 2. That's the neat thing about temple maps, they're split into 2 phases, so if you get tired after one phase, you can pick up from the second where you left off. Unfortunately, this has no use in the speedrun. It's just a neat quality of life feature. Because restarting from the second half also resets your stamp progress. There's a neat little jump I can do here. I think I got it? Yes, got it. You're supposed to hit 2 switches to raise 2 platforms there, but if you time your switch press on the one on the right, then you can skip raising the other one. This stage is full of neat little skips, one of which we'll be coming up to right now. By starting a double jump just as you get hit, you can sort of cancel your knockback and phase through those bars that you're supposed to lower. And then by moving myself over here, I can hit both of these guys with Fleur Edge, which penetrates enemies. Ooh! Very nice. And ow, that guy hit me in a cutscene. I don't like that. Luckily, it didn't diminish my chain. This time limit you're seeing is very lenient. I don't really have to rush at all, so I'm going to take the opportunity to break some pots. And then about a second after the countdown ends, I can activate the next switch in the sequence. There's a really tricky jump that the other speedrunner for this game, Ravitan, does, but I have never been able to do it, because he is a better speedrunner than I am. One more switch. Head up here, break a crystal for good luck, kill this dude, and we are on. Very solid stage. I'm happy with how that turned out. We don't get any stamps aside from the one for completing the stage, but that's not the end of the world. We make up the stamp deficit elsewhere. Now it's time for the first and worst boss fight. This is meant to introduce you to the concept of using teamwork to successfully take down bosses, but unfortunately the execution kind of falls flat on its face. You'll also notice I'm not dodge rolling immediately after I exit my dodge roll. That's because it has a cooldown to it, but only when you have a weapon equipped, which is strange. I don't know, Nayuta things. So there's this big boy. He slaps the platform and you hit it when it rises. That is the entire fight. Time to spam! You just have to be careful not to get hit by the shock waves that he leaves behind. And I'm doing very poorly. Yeah, this is a very slow fight. You're supposed to be able to get that in 2 or 3 cycles. I think that took me like 5. And also I got hit there, which sucks. Come on. There we go. So, 4 cycle, 3 cycle is relatively slow, but that fight isn't the most time-consuming anyway. I'm not too concerned about it. It's not like I'm gonna be beating my PB anytime soon anyway. Signa congratulates us for our victory and then promptly tells us to get out of Terra because he thinks it's too dangerous here and he has to be that protective big brother trope. Which sucks, because Nayuta's an adventure boy. He wants his adventure. And if he can't have his adventure, then what game could this be? Dowolf, you're not supposed to say he's right. You weren't supposed to say the quiet part out loud. Upon returning, we get greeted by Eartha, who still has no idea that Terra is a thing, so we're gonna try to keep it a secret from them, and in about 30 seconds, we fail miserably. However, now, we get introduced to the mechanic that I've been saving up stage items for, the Inspector. He'll take all of those items that you've been collecting and exchange them for money, which you can use to buy things that are infinitely more useful than the items you collect in stages. Also, cute fan-servicey assistant, because this game had to have one. So I'm going to real quick exchange that. 245 Mira is very nice for my Chapter 1 haul. We're sitting pretty at 1334 Mira. Sorry, I'm 3 Mira short. Hold on. Oh, I did my plot events out of order. Goes to show how much I know about this game. Yes, this game received a fan translation patch. It's terrible. Don't play it. Signa left a little letter saying that he's going to be gone from Remnant Isle permanently, doing some adventure-y thing over in Terra, which is all fine and good, but we're the protagonists. The translation is very, very, very rocky. It's barely any better than just playing the game in Japanese. Like, it's beneficial in the sense that you're seeing English letters on the screen instead of Japanese katakana, hiragana, and kanji. But that's about it. In terms of linguistic value, no. So I wasted about a minute there, which is evidence of how brilliant I am at speedrunning this game. But yeah, like, if you're gonna play this game, you play it for the gameplay. That is the primary reason. And it is a game very worth playing, trust me. Well, we're into the Astrolab before 30 minutes, so that's good. You actually learn Japanese? Well, I don't. Because I am a scrub, and I played this game with the fan translation exclusively to route it, and then immediately switched back to Japanese. But yeah, this game is nowhere near as intricate, nor, in my opinion, well written, with its story and overarching plot as the mainline Trails games are. It excels in characterization, as all Falcom games do, but the story is not the main attraction with this game. So heading back to Terra, we've unlocked a new mechanic. You'll notice that Otapia is a little more vibrant shade of green than it normally was, and that's because it's summertime now. Every area has 4 seasons, each with their own unique 4 stages that change the level design and gimmicks. It's a very interesting mechanic. We don't explore it in any capacity in the speedrun. So you'll notice in spring that was a pit, in summer it's a swamp. It's neat little touches like that that just make me continue to appreciate this game. We can easily earn the stamp for this stage, because the objective is simply to clear it in under 3 minutes, which, even as incompetent as I am, I can manage that feat relatively consistently. That was a very slow fight, though. Oracle of Seasons, yeah, this game gets compared to the Zelda Oracle games very often, and I will add to that comparison by saying that this game is infinitely better than the Zelda Oracle games. Take that what you will. So this here is Geo, not to be confused with Dio, not to be confused with Tio, not to be confused with Fio from Metal Slug. And he grants Noi a special little ability called a Gearcraft. Usually these are required to progress, but the nice thing about the very last one you get about halfway through the game is that it speeds up your movement significantly. So the last third of the game becomes really, really fun. Breaking that, we head on our way. And what time did I get? I'm looking for at least a 45 or faster. 44, I'll take it. Ideally, I'll get 42 there, but that's not the end of the world. And also, I'm doing marathon commentary. And also, I'm scared out of my mind. On to the next continent we go. This is Rieseveld. And it has the benefit of being a water stage that doesn't suck. Gonna break some crystals here. Not necessarily for the stamp, but just for the money. I've got a somewhat restrictive money gate at the end of this chapter. I need to get at least 2,500 Mira in order to get the weapon that I need to make the boss fight about 2 minutes faster. Also, yes, the music throughout this game is spectacular. We've just found another art slot, which means we can equip 2 magic things at once. Gonna hit that guy to get a chain up. And then we've got a bit of a mook rush here. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. We can deal with them relatively quickly. Still spamming Fleur Edge for the level. I won't be able to replace it until the next chapter, so I'm gonna be sticking with it for the next half hour or so. If you're wondering why I didn't get the middle crystal for that extra stamp, it takes like an extra 45 seconds. Magic does not have to hit anything to level up. If you so much as use it, that contributes towards its experience. Here we've got a big-ass thing that we need to break with the gear drive that we obtained from Geo. If you're playing on New Game Plus, you can ignore freeing him entirely, which creates a plot hole. On the subject of hitting things, funny you'd mention that, the special objective in this stage is killing 10 enemies with your magic, which is why, well, it's one of the reasons why I re-equipped my starting magic Plum Shot. It has better homing than Fleur Edge does. So it helps me achieve the objective for this stage much more easily. Got another Guardian that will free in about half an hour. She's the best one. Because in addition to the gear craft that she gives you, she also gives you the most broken art in the game, which is lovely. So I think I've killed 5 enemies with magic so far. I need to kill another 5. Okay, missed that one. Missed that one. Should be able to get one of these two. Okay, I got one. Get this chest here, which contains a better weapon for Nayuta. Also has the benefit of being a two-handed sword, which has better range and better firepower. Wait, firepower, it's a sword. What am I talking about? At the expense of slightly slower speed. Okay, that's 8 enemies. I need to kill 2 more. I think I'll kill these dudes. I'm also going to get all of the stamps in this stage. That monster spawner is actually optional. You don't have to trigger it at all. All it does is give you an additional art for Noi, which, fortunately, I can ignore. How am I doing? Yep, 10 enemies. Got my 3 stamps, and sitting at just shy of 2,200 Mira, which, as long as I get 170 Mira within the next stage proper, I think I'll hit the money gate. Don't trust my dubious math, it's late and I'm tired. Unfortunately, the pace grinds to a halt with these things. You gotta push them. It's a block puzzle. And they suck. This is not a perfect water level, sadly. It had to have something. I'm gonna just nuke that guy to death with Plum Shot because I need to level it up anyway for something in Chapter 4. I can make it here with a well-timed double jump, so I don't have to push it all the way. I'm sorry. Your birth year was very fleeting within this universe. Hit that crystal, get right out of the way of that dude, because he will mess me up. I completely whiffed. Nice. Got a strength chain for this mob rush, which I should be able to exploit. Solid fight, solid fight. There we go, had a bit of awkward jumping there. And just a little further to go. I get hit in a cutscene once again, which is not kosher. But that doesn't matter as we're through, and we will comfortably hit that money gate with the 130 Mira bonus at the end of the stage. we've got 2 stamp checkpoints that we can turn into Orvis at the end of this chapter, which I'm going to do now because I need to visit the town anyway. Got a cutscene that, unfortunately, we have to view. As with many Falcom games, there are cutscenes that will trigger every chapter based on your actions, so unfortunately there are a couple of those that I can't really avoid because buying this weapon here and getting those 2 new skills from Orvis are just too important. So this is the Puriesta. It's incredibly powerful for this point in the game, and the game does not expect you to have it, especially not on easy mode. So that breaks the next couple stages in half. So here we learn the Rising Aerial and the Downward Aerial, 2 abilities that you have by default in Ys Origin. And the down air is notable in particular because it's disgustingly powerful. And that 36 stamp requirement that I mentioned, the reason why it's so important is because it's an upgrade to your down air. You're gonna see me spamming Plum Shot, my base art, a lot throughout this stage, because there are a lot of segments of dull, tedious nothingness. You're also gonna see me kill a lot of enemies here, because the requirement for the stage stamp in this stage is to kill, I believe, 50 enemies. And I got paralyzed, which really sucks, because all it does is slow you down. So that's a free 10 seconds lost. Excuse me, target the switch, Nayuta. Thank you. More block puzzles to solve. Alright, that's my spamming for the segment. If you get the statues onto those circular pads on the floor, they start spewing water for some reason. They seem to have a bag of holding within their skulls that allows them an infinite supply of water with which to spew and turn this Great Bay Temple-style series of cogs and platforms. I'm not the biggest fan. Ah, darn, I missed that cycle. I don't usually make it, so I'm not too bummed. It's the cycle on this platform that you can see in the distance that I'm more concerned about once I kill these enemies. I need to be very, very careful with how I go about this. I need to jump, dodge roll off, don't dodge for the next one, and then hit the platform. Hit the switch, pardon me. That way I can dodge right back on and make the cycle. More statues to push here. I hope I don't get paralyzed here. It doesn't look like they're attacking me, but if I get hit by that salamander enemy during this cutscene, there is a chance I can get paralyzed. It has happened to me before, and it sucks. Ah, God, I missed the platform cycle again. Usually I make that one. Eh, whatever. Okay, I think I made this one. There we go. Got another Mook Rush here. These enemies are annoying because if you hit them with a normal attack, then the knockback will send them down into the floor and render them invulnerable. However, the nice thing about your down air is that the first few hits have no knockback. And wow, I got paralyzed twice. That really sucks. So I can freely hit them with my down air without triggering the invulnerability sequence. That's honestly the main reason why I even get it for this area. Got one last block puzzle. That's the last we'll be seeing of those statues for the entire run, actually, I think. Because I routed out the other instance of it. I'm gonna start spamming my Fleur Edges now to get as much experience on them as possible. And on we go to the second half. Nice thing about switching between phases, your health and charges are fully restored. Solid fight there. My head is clipping inside a platform now. Got switches that slowly rise the water level, which is a perfect excuse for me to spam Plum Shot. You can actually skip that, but you have to fight the fight anyway, so it is false hope, sadly. Don't really have much else to do while I'm waiting here, so nice weather out, eh? Okay, finally something to talk about. Not enough kneel before me? Sorry, wrong game. Until I can figure out how to make Zwei 2 not a terrible speed game, I don't think it's ever going to be in a marathon. Got a nice opportunity for some stage items here, and I got Zilch. Double kill, very nice. Not getting stage items here isn't the worst thing in the world, but it would definitely help. There are safety strats I have in place for Chapter 3 if I don't meet the money requirement. Okay, nothing there. Can I get the early switch? No, I can't. One enemy pushed me into another, which is wonderful. Anything here? No. Alright. I see how it is, game. I think there was something here, but I can't reach it now. Oh, no, I can. Never mind. I need to be really careful about these guys. Okay, good. I did not get paralyzed. If you get paralyzed there, then you can't keep up with the water as it rises, and that makes it very difficult to do anything. Alright, one more level, and got a crystal here. Man, not even anything from there. Oh, no, there was something. It was just a jellyfish-looking thing, though. Unfortunately, those aren't worth very much. How about here? No. That's the last of it, though, fortunately. And one last plum shot level up for the road. I think it might be at max level now. Alright, that was a decent Untitled Temple. Slow first half, but the second half went relatively smoothly. Alright, I am exactly where I need to be as far as stamps go, so that's nice. And now it's time for the best boss fight in the game. If you'll allow me to take a drink of water. Evil bad guy thing has taken the master gear from this temple to use for his own purposes. But instead of just flat out killing Nayuta and Noi off the bat, he decides to take a page from 2020 Falcom meme culture and take over the game with the greatest of mimetic offerings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a giant armored bruh fish, and it's out for my blood. You gotta use gear drive to break the spines on its back. And from there, I've got one more cycle. It did the attack I don't want it to do, because that kills my chain, which sucks. Now is when the fight gets interesting. If he's going down, he's taking me with him. And there is a very finicky skip I can do if I get it right. Got it. That phase is supposed to take 2 cycles. If you activate a charge attack in mid-air, you can do it with 1. He's not attacking me, which is strange. Usually he attacks. This phase is relatively RNG. There's not much I can do about it. But now that that's done with, I can start wailing on him. And that was a very, very solid fight. I don't think... Oh wait, no. It was a solid fight with the exception that I didn't bag to get the Mira chain. So, it wasn't the best of fights. But that's fine. It was a solid fight with the exception that I didn't do the thing. But anyway, we've gotten the Master Gear of Untitled back. That's 2 of our potential collection of 4. Unfortunately, our living MacGuffin is gone as a result. We have to investigate. Because that's what heroes do. If you're curious about what's being run at the event, you can type !schedule to receive a list of our games on offer. In addition, the games that we have run prior to this run will be available as VODs on YouTube around Monday or Tuesday. Depends on when I wake up from my marathon-induced coma. So the living MacGuffin woke up. Her name is Kurea, and she has no memories. Also, my sister fell asleep. I think she's dead. F's in the chat for best girl. She has come down with what everyone in the village believes to be an incurable disease. Not even the power of Lyra and her one-dimensional character arc can solve it. However, Nayuta is a determinator, and he does not simply give up that easily. So he's going to go to the inspector for some assistance, and I'm going to try a very risky strat here. Oh my god, only 40 Mira. Okay, no, never mind, I'm not doing the risky strat. Getting a pittance after Chapter 2 from my stage items pretty much removes any possibility of doing that risky strat, so I'm gonna have to do things the traditional way. So the inspector says that the plant needed to make the medicine to cure Eartha's disease hasn't been found anywhere on this planet, which to Nayuta seems like a convenient excuse to do some adventuring. And yes, that is exactly what we do. Ah, yes, here in real life we are not plagued by such inconveniences in life. If you'll, pardon me. With 2 Master Gears in our possession, I forgot to mention we're collecting those, we unlock a new season for Rieseveld, and we unlock the 3rd area, Heimel. How does the Doctor know it's not on this planet? Apparently it's gone extinct or something. How old is this game? This game is 8 years old and it's on the PSP. After a strangely long loading screen, we get to head back to Terra. And we've got a very important thing we need to do in Rieseveld Winter. Have a Ryo Takeshita banger while we're at it. We used to go through this stage to completion, however, thankfully, with the addition of routing improvements, we don't have to do that anymore. So we can cut out a solid minute and a half here. In exchange, we still have to view the slowest cutscene in the entire game. The poor PSP just cannot handle this amount of stuff on the screen at once. So behold, Slideshow no Kiseki. You thought Trails in the Sky SC murdering the bitrate was bad? You haven't seen nothing yet. Fortunately, it does run at a stable 30 when you're not turboing the cutscenes. And it also runs at a stable 30 regardless of speed on PPSSPP, which is what I'm assuming most of you pirates are playing this game on. So we get the gear hold, which is a grappling hook. Unfortunately, Nayuta commits the cardinal sin of game design and makes the grappling hook bad, which sucks. I like grappling hooks. We gotta pick up this treasure chest, which contains a lump of coal, and then we out. This is the only quest we do in the entire game, and it involves the administrator that we just saved. You're supposed to do these as side quests a la the Bracer Guild from Sky and the SSS missions from Crossbell, field missions from Cold Steel, etc. But we get to ignore all of them, which is wonderful. The only reason we do this one is because the reward is simply too powerful to pass up. I'm not lying when I say that the art you get from this is a solid candidate for the best art in the entire series. And in a series that has Death Scream, Chrono Burst, Brave Orders, Cavalry Edge, and countless other broken arts, that is a very, very solid statement. First, we gotta go through here, move past these enemies, and for the quest, we were given a bunch of eggs, which only grow in winter, so we have to place them there, and then I'm going to take a quick little detour. hit this Mira Crystal to get some more money. And then, in a neat little exercise of the game's mechanics, we switch the season to summer to allow the eggs to grow. God. English is not exactly my specialty, despite the fact that I've been speaking it for all 22 years of my life. Let it never be inferred that I am an intelligent person. The eggs are all nice and grown now, which is cool. And we get to go report our findings back to the administrator. Pardon me? Now we get to turn in our proof and receive our reward, the Art White Nova. This thing is absolutely disgusting. I will provide a more in-depth explanation of White Nova when I first get to use it. It has to be seen to be believed. This is Heimel, the stage that everybody remembers for having one of the best soundtracks in the game. This soundtrack was mostly composed by Saki Momiyama, a relatively new member of the Falcom sound team at the time, whom you may recognize for bangers such as Get Over the Barrier, Seize the Truth, A Light Illuminating the Depths, Unfathomed Force, and several other classic Falcom songs from the PSP era. She's one of my favorite composers, and I really appreciate that they gave her free reign to do as much as she wanted with these soundtracks. So heading over there, we pick up a Yold egg, which is an ingredient that we can use in cooking later. It is the only time we pick up any sort of ingredient in that manner. Anyway, this is what White Nova does. You'll notice those all were crits. That effect lasts for 10 seconds, and every single attack I deal during that time crits, in addition to every single enemy on the screen being slowed down, giving me bullet time. If you've played any Ys games, it's like having a 10-second long flash guard and flash move at the same time. It's busted. And the vast majority of my combat strategy revolves around it from this point forward. This stage is interesting, because when you're going for PB, or world record, it pretty much makes or breaks your entire run, for one very specific reason. You have to keep your chain throughout the entire stage. The special stage objective is killing 50 enemies with physical attacks, and that's easier said than done, because you have to pick and choose which enemies are fast to kill and which ones aren't. So those ones aren't very fast to kill, meaning I have to try to just bop them with Fleur Edge. I was not supposed to kill that one with Fleur Edge because I am a dumb. I have to make sure that dragon doesn't hit me. There's also some difficulty associated with it because these small enemies that I'm killing sometimes don't get knocked back from my attack. And when they don't get knocked back from my attack, they can charge up their own, which means they can potentially interrupt my chain. You've got to be very careful through this stage, because you want to get as much Mira as possible from the chain that you're building up. Pop that guy to refresh the chain. Gotta be very careful with these guys because they are the ones that most often screw me up. Okay, I think that's 50 enemies. Oh god. Get away from me! And that one screwed me up, of course. You know, maybe I can get my chain back up before the mini-boss. Yeah, I can get my chain back up. Just check. Yep, I've hit the requirement. What I want to do is I want to kill both of these mini-bosses while having that money chain active. 60 chain gives me more money upon kill. I have to wait for them to get out of the ground. Come on. Yes! I got it just in time. Now I can go to town with White Nova and completely mess them up. That is a lot more difficult than it looks. But as a reward, we get a whole bunch of money, and we get a better art for Noi. Like, I am fairly certain that was the last possible frame I could have hit the guy to keep the chain. It had flat out disappeared from my screen. Marathon runs. Oh, dude, you think that's spamming sword plunging attacks? You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until we get to Chapter 5. Got another stage here. I'm going to spam Ice Lance not necessarily to kill enemies, because, as one would expect, ice magic is very ineffective at killing ice-themed enemies. So there's not really much I can do here. Instead, I'm just going to try to blaze through the stage as fast as I can while ignoring everything else, because the stage objective for the stage stamp is free. All I have to do is not use any food in my lunchboxes, which, I will naturally do because I have no food in my lunchboxes. I am a poor, hungry boy. Another Guardian we'll be saving later. He's trying to show off his might by telling us how great and powerful he is, but ultimately he's stuck in a cage, so we take his words with a grain of salt. Dangerously hungry? Nah, RPGs, we're fine. The stage is going very well. I don't usually make it to here before that break in the music. It's sad how much I've run this game when I start to get an idea of how fast I'm going based on the BGM. I may or may not have a problem. Another mini-boss rush here, which I'm going to break once again with White Nova. And then I'm going to take a quick little detour up here for a money crystal. And then I'm on my merry way. But yeah, this song is excellent. Snowbound Sacred Mountain, if you'd like the name. And that's Heimel through. 4,400 is not a bad amount of money to have, considering how few stage objects I got. We've reached a plateau where we theorized there might be some of this grass we're looking for, but unfortunately it's winter, so they've all wilted. One would think that conclusion is obvious, but in actually a neat little world-building detail, since Remnant Island is tropical, Nayuta has never seen winter. He doesn't know what snow is. On our way to the temple, we get greeted by a familiar face. Indeed, it's Swordy Sword Boy, and he's telling us to turn back before we get hurt. Which, you know, it didn't stop us when Signa tried to do it, so he's gonna teach it to our faces. Obviously not learning from the fact that Sword Boy is level 30 and we are only level 12. We soldier onward. Oh, I'm sorry, level 11. This is another stage where I have to keep up my chain at all costs. Preferably, the sooner I get it, the better. There's that enemy there that I can use to refresh my timer. Got some more enemies up here. There's one that usually appears here. And then if that worm enemy is still there... There he is. That will refresh the chain just fine. Those horse enemies are very dangerous because they can either have a few seconds of startup delay on their attack, or they can have no startup delay at all, and I have to react accordingly. Got a money crystal I can break here. I'm looking for an enemy. There we go. Don't kill that one, because I want to kill it on my way back. There we go. Oh, I got some meat. Nice. Okay, the horses are being very kind today, which I appreciate. Usually the worms won't cause you too much trouble because they take too long to start up their attack. Okay, a chain of 172, I don't care about that guy. This is the part I'm worried about. Ooh, he's frozen. That's very nice. Okay, so hit this one guy once. The only downside about White Nova is that hits that you incur during White Nova do not count toward your chain. So you have to make sure your chain is at max before you cast it. Bop that guy. And then this stage is so long that I can White Nova right here and have another charge for it before it ends. Those enemies can be a bit of a problem because sometimes they get knocked back when I attack and sometimes they don't. Those enemies can also be a problem because they have way too much health. But we're through them relatively cleanly. And yeah, that's the only downside with White Nova. It costs your combo if you don't use it wisely. That guy just flat out whiffed on his sword. No stage objects from there, which sucks. I might have to do my safety strat if I don't start getting items soon. Okay, there's something. Can I make this cycle? No. Spent too much time breaking bottles. 6387. I get about 500 from the end of this stage. So I need to bear that in mind. And I can try to shimmy my way here, break some pots, and again, get nothing. Whoop. That's the attack I don't want to see. Can I keep my chain? Yes. And he's doing the one attack that has no chance of hitting me, which is wonderful. I don't think it'll be enough to get to this area with my chain intact, though. Yeah, no. I've wasted far too much time. That's fine, though. These enemies will give me a lot of money. We've got 2 mook rushes on the 2 sides of these platforms. Oh wow, I could see him charging his attack, but he was frozen, so it didn't matter. Unfortunately, I still took a hit. But for some reason I kept my chain, which is strange. Let's see if I can keep it here. No, I can't. Okay, nicely done, Noi. Ice Lance is getting a lot of mileage here, because though I previously stated it wasn't very good at killing ice-themed enemies, it has no problem killing the enemies here. Okay, I got a fossil. That's at least worth something. So I think I'm guaranteed at least 100 from exit items. And then there's this beefy boy. Just one more segment. I'll have money up for it. Ooh, another fossil. And I want... Okay, I'm gonna stay clear of that guy, and then strike while the iron is hot. Okay, I might have enough just with this. I don't remember the exact number on how much I get at the end of this stage. Show me the money. Nope, not quite. I'll have to revisit the inspector. Ultimately, it could have been a lot worse, considering I was only 50 off. And I also need to revisit the town anyway. So, just gotta head over here. 830, I will take it. So now we're in a pretty good position, money-wise. Oops. That lump of coal turned out to be excellent material for forging weapons, so we've upgraded the weapons shop. And now we can buy the sledgehammer. The game didn't expect you to have the Puriesta in Chapter 2. It really doesn't expect you to have the sledgehammer in Chapter 3. So this boss becomes incredibly fast. We've got a giant enemy crab spider sort of thing to deal with. I don't know if I can make an E3 2006 reference here. And unfortunately, what I said about the boss being fast, that's only once I get it vulnerable, which is an incredibly random process. On this first phase, it can fire anywhere between 3 and 8 attacks before it leaves itself vulnerable like this. I think that was 5, so that's about average. Fortunately, it only takes 1 cycle, as do all of this boss's phases. Alright, be a good crab. That's 4. That's 5. 6 now? Okay, 6. That sucks, but I'll take it. Hello? On to phase 2 now. It has one really time-consuming attack that I don't want it to do. And it didn't do it! Hey, it threw me a bone. So now I can freely wail on it, and that'll bring me into phase 3. It'll do anywhere between... I believe it only does either 3, 5, or 7 attacks here. And I have to be very careful with when I use my White Nova accordingly. Nice! It only did 3. Okay. So the thing about this boss is that when you get on top of it, it'll do a specific attack, and it will try to force itself off of you. So what I just did there was I stalled for time to make sure that it was at the ending of its get-off attack animation before I White Nova'd. If I White Nova'd when the get-off me attack was beginning, then its hit point would have become intangible. And that would have cost a whole bunch of time. Fortunately, I managed to avoid that, so overall that was a good fight. Prime numbers. I never thought of it that way. We're actually making surprisingly good time for a run that I forgot to derust. Oh, I'm an imbecile. We head back to fall, and unfortunately the flowers are still wilted, but through the power of anime, our living MacGuffin manages to make them bloom once more. And so, Best Girl is cured. Everybody's happy and rejoicing, and that doctor character, who I completely forgot to introduce in Chapter 2, makes his only appearance for the rest of the run. After that, he promptly continues being completely irrelevant. We give Eartha a little talking to, and she suggests to give Kureha a little celebratory banquet for her saving her life, which, I mean, that's a reasonable thing to do. So we gotta go fetch her. Kureha's just sitting admiring the Astrolab, as she always is. We go and bring her to Remnant Isle, which promptly brings Lyra Burton's entire existence crashing on top of her. Sorry, you've got another Best Girl in the running. So that's all well and good. We get yet more explanation with evil, bad, evil, grim person, dude, and swordy sword boy. And that's the end of the chapter, ending on a relatively high note. We've only got one more Master Gear to collect. This is where the routing for this game really starts coming together, because this is where I make my final push to get 36 stamps. I need them by the end of this new area, Lawarg. I'm doing pretty well on my level as well, which is nice because I need to be at least level 17 by the end of the area as well. First though, we gotta go rescue Algol. I'm gonna try to kill some of the enemies here because I believe some of them get 3-shot by Ice Lance. And those fly enemies, of course. You could just jump on the flowers to avoid the poison, but, no. This chapter has a lot of precision platforming in it, so I'm hoping I'll be able to show that off. We only need to break one of the barriers holding back this Guardian, because he's a strong boy. One slideshow of exposition later, and we get the Gear Shield, which allows us to walk over stage hazards and shield certain attacks, one of which is significantly more useful than the other. Going to exit out now. And on we go to Lawarg, featuring yet another banger. I believe this one is called Scorching Fault, if I'm not mistaken. Going to try to casually kill as many enemies as I can here, because the general rule of thumb is if I'm level 16 when I enter the temple, I'll be level 17 coming out. So that's my goal for these next 3 stages. Another fight that White Nova completely trivializes. And we meet our last administrator. I said that the one in Rieseveld was the best one, but this one is probably the most important one, because the craft she gives you is excellent. By far the most useful of the 4 you're given. And we're through. About halfway to level 16, which is just about where I want to be. Stage objective was to not run out of craft gauge, which is free. This next stage is very important. It features one of the trickier jumps in the game, and I need to do it fast because there's a 90-second time limit. And despite this being a speedrun, that 90-second time limit is not guaranteed, because I also have to get all 3 crystals and the treasure chest in this stage, while casually trying to kill everything. So I'm going to take this procedurally, because falling off would cost me more time than simply taking it slow. Also gotta be careful of these guys' hitboxes. And this is the segment in question. Yes! I get irrationally nervous whenever I have to make that jump, and I don't know why, because it always looks easy. But that's the most troublesome part of the stage through. Now all I have to do is just not screw up the rest. There's a thing over here that I can get with Gear Shield. It is a better cloak for Noi, which I object to this. I heavily object to this, but it gives her a lot of magic, so I can't really object too much. These platforms are very tricky because my depth perception is not a reliable thing, and we're through. That should have been about 78, 79 seconds. 80, I'll take it. Just 2 more stamps to earn in the next stage, and 2 stamps to earn in the temple, and we'll be good to go. Oh, I forgot about this cutscene. Is this the cutscene I'm thinking of? No, it's the next cutscene that I'm thinking of. You'll know what I'm talking about in a couple minutes. Trust me. Alas, the poor one-eyed fox. All yo yens. Yip yip yeah. Gonna kill a few of those jerks. Clear out this mob. The stage objective for this area is to not use Gear Shield, so I'll circumvent that by just jumping over this lava, which most of the time manages to let me avoid getting hit. The physics in this game are fun. Very nice mini-boss fight there. Just about at level 16, so I've just got a couple more enemies I need to kill. I'm also going to take a detour up here to get this chest, which contains an amethyst. I can sell this for money. I'm gonna kill those dudes, because I feel like it. There we go, level 16. And we're through with La Warg 3. Overall, very, very solid chapter so far. And now, it's time for the best cutscene in the game. Kureha is being introduced to some of the inhabitants of Remnant Isle, one of which is this very, very special baby that can defy gravity. Take a close look. Don't blink or you'll miss it. Look it! That always cracks me up. It's something to do with Turbo screwing up its animation. Sorry, Mega Meow, you'll have to wait for the VOD. We can't enter the temple quite yet because we're getting worried about Kureha after Swordy Sword Boy gave some cryptic words about her being in danger. So we've got to head back to Remnant Isle. I let go of the turbo button for a second there, which I was not supposed to do. And we gotta go track down our waif. Turns out she's over here gazing at the tower that fell from the sky, or maybe the moon's in the sky, I don't know. My depth perception doesn't work. And everything seems all fine and good until all of a sudden, weather. Honestly, snow sounds pretty darn nice right now. So this is a problem, and the only way to fix it is by killing a bunch of things in the temple. This is where we'll earn our final 2 stamps. Any further stamps we earn from this point forward are strictly for money, because earning more stamps does give you more money at the end of the stage. Got this switch to hit here, and then do a massive dive bomb on that poor, unsuspecting enemy. Bop that guy, and we've got some enemies that are going to come out of the ground. Whoop. Get rid of that guy. Do a quick jump. Overall, stage is very straightforward. I think I have to kill 40 enemies. Whatever it is, killing every enemy on the path will guarantee the stamp. I also get to activate White Nova here, which is nice because it lets me kill those fire enemies that normally I can only hit with magic. And I get to keep my chain too. Nayuta, murder hobo. That has a nice ring to it. I'll have to pitch that to Kondo if I ever get to talk to him. Along with an English localization, please? My White Nova gets recharged in between stages, so I'm going to use it right off the bat again. And if I climb this tower fast enough, I can get some crits on that guy. This puzzle I have to complete. I can't just murder hobo my way through it. Couple tricky jumps here, but nothing soul-crushing. And I might be able to keep my chain heading to the other side. I might have killed that guy too early. Oh, I'm definitely not keeping it now. Get this crystal for some extra moolah. I have to be mindful of my ice lances because I tend to run out during this segment. Seem to be doing fine on them right now, though. Couldn't keep my chain, unfortunately, but I'll have other ways to get money. And with the last enemy I kill, I reach level 17. The rule is true. Level 16 going in, level 17 coming out. Okay, it's 35 enemies. We've acquired all 36 stamps we need, so I'm going to, after this animation finishes doing whatever it's doing, I'm going to head back to Remnant Isle to go have a nice little chat with my man Orvis. Unfortunately, this takes a while. Because I'm learning 4 skills that I really should have had well before now. That skill increases my basic one-handed sword combo from 4 hits to 5. This skill allows me to guard. I got the upgraded version of the guard in Gear Shield before I got the guard proper. And there's this one, which I believe is the air dodge. Yes, it's the air dodge. Which unfortunately isn't all that useful outside of one very specific instance. This is the one I'm looking for. This one increases the damage that my down air does as long as I have a chain up. Now it all comes together. I'm going to re-equip Plum Shot, specifically for the purpose of getting my chain up. Because for this boss fight, having that chain and having that upgraded down air is absolutely essential to dealing any damage at all, with how underleveled I am. First phase is a non-issue, I can wail on him here. And this boss fight is so long that it will recharge by phase 3. Phase 2 is where things get difficult. It is entirely random whether he will decide to try to stomp you with his leg of choice, or whether he will suddenly decide to pack things up and move. There's no rhyme or reason to what he does, and I have to make sure to react to whatever he does in time so that I can keep my strength chain up. Wait. Ooh. No. Alright, guess I'm spamming. Okay. Head up here, deal some damage to his weak point, which fortunately gives me a whole ton of charges back for Plum Shot. And lather, rinse, repeat one more time. Fortunately, this first one is free, so I'm going to wait for him to use it before moving on to this next one. And then, what's he going to do? Okay. I guessed incorrectly. Alright, what's he doing now? Oh, he's attacking 3 times in a row. That's new. And nice, I got a quick cycle there. And my White Nova is fully charged. Phase 3. I have a money chain that I want to keep. And I will get to keep it, because he did the exact attack I wanted him to do. Perfect fight. I will absolutely take a fight where I only get hit once. That is a rarity. The hitbox on his tail, in particular, is very difficult to avoid. So if you're caught hitting one of his hind legs while he starts moving, then you are invariably going to take a hit, unless you have the precision and timing of a bodhisattva. Unfortunately, we were too late to stop Evil Bad, Evil Dude, and Swordy Sword Boy, because everything is going wrong. The 4 towers have activated something, sending pillars of light screaming into the sky, and everything within Terra is going haywire as we speak. Welcome to the halfway point of the game. Signa, sensing that his little brother has gotten in way too deep over his head, decides to simply end the game right here and boot him back into Remnant Island. I'm sure he has his reasons. $14,000 Mira. That is an excellent amount to have right now. Without that Mira bonus on the boss fight, I'd probably be somewhere around 11 or 12,000. Dorado is unconscious, and it's not because he's hungry. This city is under siege. This truly is the most desperate hour. Again, welcome to the halfway point. It only gets worse from here. Our living MacGuffin friend attempts to use her powers of anime to subject the will of evil dude. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, for he uses the powers of Jedi mind tricks to subvert her and bring her to the dark side. We don't know this, of course, yet. I just spoiled it for you. For now, we gotta get right the hell out of Dodge. So we decide to go the only place we can think of, the tower that has a dead-end climb. Nayuta is smart. Fortunately, we don't have to kill any of these enemies, even though it would cost basically no time. No, he really isn't, is the thing. He's got that Determinator thing about him. Kind of like Vice from Skies of Arcadia, except nowhere near as intelligent. And in fairness, he's 15, so I don't expect too much from the guy. Because Vice has the added benefit of being a BAMF. Is this game related to any other Falcom game? No. Unless you subscribe to some particular crack theory swirling around r/Falcom. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. There are some theories swirling around that this is either a very distant prequel or a very distant sequel to the current Trails games, but those theories are very much unfounded and based on shaky evidence. Alternate unit, I don't know. Because there are some lines of dialogue that hint at a greater connection to the Trails series, but we have no way of telling whether or not it's an actual connection or just fan service. So I can't really make any judgments on it. Fortunately, the portal's working again, so we can start playing the game. And oh dear, that's not a good shade of red. What we behold before us is the activated Astrolab. Before I forget, I need to switch back to Ice Lance. Yeah, Kondo, he tells people to play this game, which, of course he does, it's a Falcom product, but he seems to be hinting at some greater sense of importance, which is just Kondo being Kondo, really. We reach the foot of the greater Astrolab Tower, known to us as Heliograd. Unfortunately, we can't scale it because we don't know how to climb ladders. So instead, we're going to go consult the administrator of Lewarg. This is something we'll have wanted to do anyway, because the gearcraft she gives us is fantastic. I'm gonna try to kill those jellyfish enemies because they can confuse me if they get a hit on me, which is very cumbersome. Theoretically, confusion doesn't lose you any time, it just reverses your controls, but it's still obnoxious because I am a human and not Shinoa. Also, killing them gives me a nice strength chain for this mini-boss. I should be able to one-shot these guys. Kaboom! And the last administrator is freed. Yes, this is on PSP. I'm playing this on a PSTV, it doesn't really make any difference. With this, we receive Gear Drive, which is effectively our dash. It is obnoxious that we get this over halfway into the run, but I will not complain, because it's fantastic. Before we go into Heliograd, though, I'm going to make a detour over here, for a very specific reason. Ice Lance has served us well so far, but I'm looking for something to replace it, and that specific thing is right in this stage. Didn't make the cycle there, but that's not too big an issue because I can just phase through the floor. But yeah, Gear Drive is great because it's fast and you get a momentum boost when you hit enemies by bouncing off of them, which is great. I love it. It lets me avoid having to actually jump. Anyway, this fight is important because if either of these birds... Okay, neither of them decided to rush me. Okay, I have a strength chain. I'm going to draw all of these enemies in close. And then fire away. Very nicely done fight. That can be incredibly dangerous if it goes wrong, or if you lose your chain. And I get Petal Shield for my troubles, in addition to a crystal. There we go. Petal Shield is an excellent ability. It spawns 3 flowers around you that will relentlessly attack anything that gets within your range, and they persist for an incredibly long period of time. Yes, great ability with Gear Shield, great ability with Gear Drive, especially. And it's the only art in the game that can utilize a specific bug with White Nova. I think you can tell where this is going. So in we go to Heliograd, widely regarded as the best stage in the game. This is all about Gear Drive and how effectively you use it. So unfortunately, you're not going to be hearing me talking all that much because I have to concentrate. You'll also see me pause occasionally without using Gear Drive. That's because the blue gauge below my health is my Gearcraft gauge. If I run out, I go into a really long cooldown and have to wait for it to fully charge again. So I do not want that to happen. Here's the glitch in action. Normally, you're not supposed to be able to use any art in conjunction with White Nova. White Nova is supposed to be a completely independent thing. However, if you use Petal Shield and enter a monster spawner, the game forgets that it's active. So you are free to use White Nova as much as you like, and the Petal Shield hitboxes are affected by the crit bonus. At least I believe they are. It is the single most disgusting combo in this entire game. Got one more spawner here. Petal Shield makes mincemeat of most regular enemies. It's only limited by the small amount of charges you have for it, which ultimately isn't that big of a deal because usually you don't run out before you're done with the stage already. Stage objective here is free. It's just completed in under 4 minutes, and I got 2 flat. That is an incredibly good time. Had to take a bit of a swig there, pardon me. Sadly, Heliograd, as fun as it is, only lasts for 2 stages, as opposed to the usual 3. I'm just gonna kill that guy to get extra gauge. You can walk across those ladders with Gear Shield, but it's much faster to use Gear Drive, for obvious reasons. Okay, I need to be careful here, because I screw up this jump way too much. Head over here, activate this ladder, with some additional enemies that I'm going to completely ignore. The stage has one very important chest that I'm going to detour out of my way for. It costs a solid 45 seconds to a minute, but the reward is well worth it, I assure you. Without it, I would be dealing ass for damage. Just gonna walk over here, steal their crystal, don't mind me, thank you. I love doing that. Activate the glitch once more. That enemy decided to be cheeky with its invincibility, so I shall say no to that. The other nice thing about White Nova is that you can cancel out of it at any time by opening the quick travel menu. So if you White Nova by accident, then you can just open the menu and it'll act like you never cast it. Unfortunately, that means that your crit bonus dissipates as well, and the enemy slowdown, but a small price to pay. We get the Executioner, the second best one-handed sword in the game, and it will be an incredible source of damage for the next 2 chapters. Gonna try to conserve as much gear drive as I can here, because this is a very long climb. Okay, I should have enough. And we're through. Very respectable Heliograd 2, and the stage objective is once again free. The final money gate that I need to hit is 35,000 Mira by the beginning of Chapter 7. It's not too difficult to hit, but the earlier I hit it, the better, because I can potentially hit it before one very slow boss fight, which will speed it up significantly. Not a very high chance, though. We've almost reached the top of Heliograd, and we're greeted by Swordy Swordface, who, as it would turn out, is in fact Signa. The main rule of the plot of this game is that when you're presented with a question with 2 possible answers, the answer is both. Who we know as Signa was in fact one person. A mythos, the same race as Kureha and bad evil person, named Selim. Selim was split into 2 at some point in time as the result of a massive catastrophe that wiped out the entire Mythos race, save him, Kureha, and the reincarnated Zext. Oh, I'm sorry, Evil McEvil Dude. So Signa's evil now, because he never really was Signa. This obviously distresses Nayuta somewhat, but we soldier on. You know, as one is. And here, we're presented with the only time in the game that we have infinite gear drive, because it's a boss fight. Of course. This boss fight is complete RNG. I need to try to keep up my chain, even though that is very difficult because some of his attacks just don't leave him vulnerable, and also this is really difficult to control. Usually this fight will take 3 or 4 phases. For this rolling attack, you gotta move forward if he's going to the right and back if he's going to the left. For this one, you just gotta get out of his way. And then, oh god, I'm getting comboed. That's bad. Who? You're supposed to be able to hit him during that attack, but I got clipped by the hitbox on his rotors. Fortunately, he gave me another chance to hit him right afterward. Oh yeah, we also have infinite gear drive here. Unfortunate that getting infinite gear drive in-game is locked behind New Game Plus. We've reached Bad Evil's lair, only to find out that our friend and our brother have both turned against us. Their ceremony is nearing its final stages. They will destroy our world and remake it anew, as revenge for the extinction of their race. Or something, I don't know, that's just what Wolf told me. This gives Nayuta further shock, causing us to kneel in prayer until we are suddenly and unceremoniously bopped. We've got 2 FMV cutscenes here. Unfortunately, they're both skippable. What if this is all a dream by the Earth Goddess? What if this is all a novel? So everything just went from bad to worse to downright apocalyptic. Welcome to the 2/3 point of the game. No, Nayuta does not wake up in the shower, he wakes up in his bed. Pardon the epilepsy warning and my voice crack. Nayuta is, if nothing else, determined. So he decides to set out for himself and discover that the sky, the sea, the land, everything within this world is completely destroyed. Okay, not completely, it's not like a Final Fantasy V style void. Screwed up. Clean Possum, stop being so real. Yeah, split Nayuta into 3. You'll have Nayuta, you'll have Gradica Nayuta, and then you'll have Luminous Nayuta. And then they can all have weapons equipped to all 4 of their slots. So with everything being messed up, we've just got to try to talk things out with the residents to gain an idea of what's going on. There are a total of 3 people you need to talk to. You need to talk to Dorado there, you need to talk to the village mayor, and then you need to talk to the inspector. For Nayuta adventures. That sounds good. Kondo, please. Kondo, give Nayuta 2. Cold steel is bad. I like Nayuta. Anyway, I'm gonna turn in my stuff here. 2770 Mira, that's a very nice haul. I might be able to get the 35,000 Mira weapon early. We've hit our staple Falcom checkpoints. Now we've just got to try to head back home. We can't, though, because Lyra. Turns out she and some kid got themselves embroiled into a really sticky situation, but we have the tools to handle it. Ladies and gentlemen, White Nova. Okay, that did not go the way I wanted it to. I have never screwed up that fight before. That's the one bad thing about the Executioner. Being a one-handed weapon, it has very slow range. And if it hits a certain hitbox on that enemy as opposed to its head, which is the vulnerable part, then it won't connect with any other hitboxes. Which sucks. Turns out, though, we have a solution to our woes. We didn't have a way to get back into Terra, but Orvis has one. He has a gate that he just left in his house for some reason, and we can use that to break back in. Also, Overflowing Feelings. This song is great. Unfortunately, it plays for all of 5 seconds. Anyway, I'm going to make this. It's an egg burger. And that ends up being a pivotal strategy for one of the boss fights in this chapter. It uses the Yold egg that I picked up all the way back in chapter 3, and if I execute the strategy with it correctly, I'll be able to save a fair bit of time on the third boss fight. With that, in we go back into Terra. And that does not look right. Oh dear. Oh my. Something's not right here. This is Lexandria. It was created as a sort of parallel to Terra, as a place to house humans before their conflict with each other tore the mythos apart. Also, can we appreciate how beautiful this place is now? Like, this is on PSP and the lighting effects are excellent. Anyway, getting back to the game. There are a total of 4 districts that we need to traverse. You can actually tackle them in any order, and generally, with one exception, the order is up to you. I like to tackle my districts 1, 4, 3, 2, because the second district contains a very slow, tanky boss, and I need to tackle the third district third, because I need to be at least level 25 to use that strategy with the Yold egg. Some spikes that you can very easily outrun by canceling your gear drive into another gear drive. The game does not expect you to do that. Also, I know on the emulated version, at least, there is a very small area where you can stand, and the hitbox actually won't affect you on the spikes. So the spikes don't even do their job, which I find hilarious. Got another boss fight here. I'm just gonna leave that one be, get the other ones. Get that guy. I have a lot of pedal shield charges, so I'm just going to activate this one now. Ah, dang it, I missed the cycle. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. Overall, a sloppy District 1, but you don't lose too much time here. And the stage objective is still free, you just have to fall off fewer than 10 times. This place look familiar? It's meant to mirror each of the towers/temples from Terra. And there's a very specific reason for that, as we will find when we crest the top. Geo's here with us, but he's not our ally. All of the administrators have sided with Zext, and they're all out for our heads. So we have to destroy each and every one of them to turn them back to the side of good. Because that's just what we do. That's the attack I want him to do, because it leaves him wide open to wail on with the upgraded down air. There are supposed to be 3 phases to this fight. This is phase 2. This is supposed to be phase 3. Instead, he's dead. White Nova, ladies and gentlemen. Every single boss in this chapter gets completely wrecked by White Nova strats. And there is not a damned thing they can do about it. On to District 4 now, where we lather, rinse, and repeat. This side is supposed to use Gear Shield, but instead, there's a frame-specific trick you can do where if you jump off of a trapped platform, just as you land on it, you will avoid taking damage. I have affectionately called this fire hopping. It's difficult to do, but if you do it with enough consistency, then you can just ignore most of the traps in here. I'm gonna go pick up this crystal. Unfortunately, this I can't avoid. I have to Gear Shield through it. You're supposed to be able to do that jump with a very specific dash jump. I duffed it that time, though, because I am horrendously out of practice at this game. I'm gonna kill some enemies here to refresh my gauge. Got another boss fight on the way. Okay, I am really having a difficult time with these guys today. I don't know why. Oh, I'm getting kind of low on health. I should probably try to watch that. Fortunately, we're almost through. There's not much longer to go. And we're through. 27,400. I don't know if I'll be able to get to 35k before the final boss fight of the chapter. I think I almost said final FOF. Arven is corrupting me. This is the boss that you're supposed to tackle last. But the internal processes of my mind are not officially sanctioned things. I'm just gonna gear shield that so I don't take damage. This fight can be relatively tricky, and it can get close if you get comboed in the wrong way. I should be able to avoid that, though. Okay, I made it to the backside of the boss, so things should go smoothly from here. Yep, she's just attacking the front where I no longer am. Now for the second phase, I'm going to move around to the back with Gear Shield and then go to town. Got her. Very jank fight because I lost my chain, but still worked out. On to District 3 next. This one utilizes the grapple. And because of that, it is a very inconsistent stage and it's very easy to screw it up. As evidenced by the fact that I just flat out did not grab that thing. I kinda needed to do that. Now I gotta wait for this. Make sure I'm on the right cycle. As long as I fall off fewer than 3 times, I believe, in this stage, I'll earn the bonus. I also need to keep mind of my craft gauge. That's the word I'm thinking of. That was a bad idea. The stage is still relatively quick, though, despite all the grappling shenanigans. I think you don't even have to fight a mini-boss here. Yeah, this is the end of the stage. So that was below average, but I survived. It's just a flesh wound. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting 35k until after I beat this boss. Actually, wait, no, hold on. If I get enough stuff in the stage, I might be able to turn in my items. Depends on how many stage items I get in the next stage. Here we go. Time to fight Algol now, and he's one of the trickier boss fights. Proper gear shield usage is very important here. Because one property I haven't discussed about gear shield is that if you time it properly, like a flash guard in Ys, you actually get a bonus of 5 added onto your chain. Unfortunately, I don't seem to be timing it all that well. So that's one of the big keys to later boss fights, as well as this one. Now for Phase 2, and I need to be very careful what I do here. That's not being careful. Hold on. This is going a bit off the rails. This is going to be a very slow fight, because I used White Nova when I wasn't supposed to. I was trying to guard. But like an idiot, I pressed square instead of R. So I have to fight another phase of this. If you use the Yold Egg in a specific way, then you can manage to skip this next phase of the fight by getting him so far down in his health that the check that determines what phase he's in activates too late. White Nova is literally too fast. What that Yold Egg Burger does is it gives you a strength bonus. So ideally, what you do there is you use the Egg Burger while you're hanging on the pole that trails him, and then you White Nova once he's on the ground, and that allows you to deal so much damage that it thinks that the boss fight is in a later phase than it actually is. At the very least, since I still have it in my inventory, I should be able to use it for the next boss. All I have to do for this stage is get a chain of 40, which I just managed there. So that should get me 35,000 Mira. Which is very nice. I wasn't expecting to hit it this early. This is a very tricky area, and I need to go about it in a very specific way. If you use what I'm doing there, which is jumping, activating a dash, and then immediately double jumping after canceling it, you can get just a little bit of extra momentum, and that allows you to clear these jumps with only one platform. Unfortunately, some of these jumps are blind, so there's not a whole lot of certainty. But I can get some of them down relatively consistently. Just gotta wait for this platform over here. And then this one is already lined up for me. There's a lot of Gear Buster in this stage, so I have to mind my craft gauge usage. Activate one more thing for the road, and that would be a problem, but you can just jump around it. And that's the final Lexandria stage. Overall, went relatively well. And that chest I picked up contained the final metal material that I need, which combined with the 35,000 Mira I've acquired will give me the best two-handed sword in the main game. Just in time for the boss fight with Elizette. So back to Remnant Isle I go. Don't even have to visit the inspector. And with that, we get the Lost Dragon. Another weapon that the game really doesn't expect you to have. And good lord, look at the size of that thing. It is a chunker. Unfortunately, the Mira crystals here are only worth 1 Mira, so there's not much of a point to collecting them. It just passes the time. It's a neat little minigame. Somehow, having survived that fall, we face the final fight in this chapter. And I'm going to have to do it a little differently than I normally do. The ice on this boss's appendages can only be damaged with Gear Buster. So I have to mind my usage to make sure that Noi still has enough stamina to use it. Fortunately, the weak point inside is vulnerable to all manner of attacks, so I can freely wail on it once I break the ice guarding it. And then for this phase, things get paradoxically a little easier, because the ice on the floor helps you avoid the boss's attacks better. Also, the camera gets stuck until she rams into the wall. Wait, hold on, it's still stuck. This is a little unusual. Okay, I accidentally activated my flower shield, which I wasn't supposed to do, but still, solid fight. It goes a lot faster when you have the Lost Dragon with you. That much is for certain. Trying to do it with the Executioner is very finicky, because of its smaller hitboxes. But with that, we've gathered all of the Stella Gears, the subterranean counterpart to the Master Gears that we had been collecting for the first half of the game. And we're ready to mount our attack on Zext. Before we do that, though, we've got to go place him in the Astrolab. This will be the last time we visit it in the main game. I love the lighting effects in this place. You can really tell that the entire Astrolab and Terra in general are going haywire. It's just such a brilliantly designed area. It's not something that you would expect from Falcom, because they're not normally known for their graphical fidelity, but with this being their swan song to the PlayStation Portable, it does an admirable job at showing what it can do. But enough about my yammering. We have an enemy to convert to a friend real quick. Kureha decides to take now to share the depressing, disheartening backstory of her ancestors, the Mythos. Once, in a far, far removed time from our own, the Mythos and humans lived in peace and coexistence. But then the humans decided to be assholes, and the Mythos all went and died. This also had the effect of tearing a giant gash in the planet. One of the big world-building points was that everybody thought the Earth was flat, and to an extent, they're true. At the edges of that crater is a giant pit that you will fall into. But anyway, through the power of friendship and JRPGs, Nayuta decides to convince Kureha to return to the light side, until she's taken as damsel in distress, with the dreaded grab her by the elbow move. We need to give chase, which leads us to Chapter 7. Oh boy, here we go. Chapter 7 is probably the most execution-heavy chapter in the game, outside of one boss fight later. The game is not running at a low FPS, it's just the cutscenes, because the frame rate tanks to account for fast forward. In-game runs at a stable 30. Into the Stellarium we go. And ladies and gentlemen, sour please. I'm just going to stay silent and let this music track, The Place Where the Planet Is, do all of the talking for me. God, Momiyama is a treasure to Falcom. This stage has a ton of really intricate skips and jumps that you can do, and I'm going to try to get them all down as quickly as I can. Because that's the only way I can do this stage justice. Here's the first one. That was not done well. That also was not done well. There we go. That saves a solid minute. That was strange. Anyway, moving on. We've got to hit these two switches to raise these two platforms. Relatively simple stuff. It's the little intricate tips and tricks that make this stage great, like this one. I should learn to hold my tongue sometimes. Probably doesn't help that it's 1 in the morning and I'm dead tired. This is, for all intents and purposes, the final dungeon. It's not really the last of the game, per se. But it's the last... These next 2 stages are the final 2 stages that we do. From there on out, it's all boss fights. Gonna try another pedal shield glitch here. Very nicely done. Another neat jump you can do here that I'm going to try. Got it. Normally you have to wait for that platform to reach the other side. And now for a 20-second loading screen. No, the game did not crash. In fairness, this is the single largest stage in the game. I'm going to do this area first. I'm going to do a very specific glitch within it, and I'm going to try to explain what on earth just happened afterward. That's basically it, Heldu. I'll explain further when we get there. Yes, this is on PSP. Anyway, I need to concentrate a little bit here. Should be good. Yup. Boom. This is the end of the area. That glitch was discovered by Ravi about 2 years ago, and I have no idea how he found it. My best guess at what's going on is when you hit a switch when the game doesn't expect you to, it despawns the platform for some reason, and in response, you are sent tumbling to your death, but the game doesn't know where to respawn you, so it just respawns you at the end of the area. That's what I think is happening. That is by no means a confident answer. Also, I was supposed to pedal shield glitch here. This should be fine though. There we go. These other areas are just meant to test your various gear crafts. So that one was supposed to be... Actually, I have no idea what that one was supposed to be. I think that was supposed to be Gearbuster. The shield one is a different one. The shield one was the second one I did. The first one is just a gauntlet, so I don't know. But yeah, the down air is incredibly OP. Yeah, no, it doesn't send the platform back to the start point. It just straight up despawns it. If you try to do the stage again and you screw that glitch up, then the platform just isn't there anymore. There's no way to clear it, so you soft lock if you fail it. Luckily, it's relatively consistent. But yeah, Ravi's a cool dude. He speedran this game a little bit with me back in 2018. We cannot skip any gear crafts. Unfortunately, there are just too many hard requirements. You can almost skip gear shield. If there were any way to get more vertical height, more height than you're supposed to off of a jump, that would allow us to skip gear shield. And it would also allow us to skip 2 minutes in this stage. But unfortunately, I have not found any way to do so yet. And with that, we have cleared the Stellarium Cradle. Just a bit longer to go, and we're through. 2:38 is a very respectable time through this stage. And now we get to the part of the run that I have been dreading. Those of you who have played the game will know what's up here. You'll understand why I'm scared. It's time to fight Selim. And Selim is an incredibly unpredictable, inconsistent, balls-to-the-wall difficult fight. It can go any number of ways. I've had fights where I don't get hit at all. I've had fights where I don't even bring him down to half health before he completely wrecks me. It is a complete crapshoot whether or not I will survive this man. The biggest reason why will be revealed momentarily. I'm trying, Izuku. I'm trying. So here's the gimmick. For this and 2 other boss fights in the game, you do not have access to Noi. It's just you and the boss. And Nayuta's kind of weak on his own. Keeping a chain up is absolutely paramount here, and I'm also incredibly scared to fight, well, to get up close with him, because he has that. He also has a guard, which, if he activates it, which he can do at any time, including while being hit, will destroy your chain, and it will have him land a free hit on you. Oh god. He's toying with me. He's gonna dash, isn't he? I called it and I still got hit. If you hit him in his guard, it is basically unavoidable. Oof. Yeah, that's kind of how I expected the fight to go. Doesn't help that his hitboxes are absolutely massive. Okay. Trigger the guard. Oop. Okay. Ah, crud. Yeah, this is like a fighting game boss. That's the comparison I keep drawing it to. The problem is that you have no tools compared to Signa's. He also has a desperation attack that will one-shot me if I get caught in it. He only has access to it when he's below half health, though, thank God. Ooh, ah. I do not want him to corner me, above all else. I cannot let him corner me. Because if he does, it's basically game over. Okay, I feel like he's gonna dash. Come here. Oop. What you gonna do? That's the desperation attack. I cannot get hit by it. Die. I'll take a Selim fight in 2 attempts. Oh, yeah, normally you do have armor for this fight. The neat thing about this game is that you can actually see the armor you equip on Nayuta, as in on his character model, but since we don't equip any, you can't tell. .242 is still a respectable time to be exiting this fight at. I should be able to get underestimate fairly comfortably. Would it be possible to route in a lunchbox? It probably would, but safety is for chumps. As are the words of the mighty Shinoa. So Selim is back to the good side, and he's decided to fight for us. Here he goes! Well, that didn't work. Zext ended up stealing his power, furthering the next phase of his plan and all that jazz, and as a consequence, Selim, with the last of his power, urges us on, and then gets stoned. Which would be a problem, but it's legal in my state now. So on to the final level. This stage has a lot of really neat tricks that I'm going to try my best to exploit. Some of them are very precise. This one, fortunately, is not. Okay. I gotta line up properly, I gotta hit my marker, and then I gotta Go! Nope. That is possible, and it saves a whole ton of time, so I'm going to keep trying. There we go. That jump is always really satisfying to pull off. Still saves a good 15 to 30 seconds even if you fail it. Unfortunately, the same cannot be done for these platforms here. You've got to ride them out. In the meantime, more jams. This is the only time in gameplay that the frame rate drops from a stable 30. If you use the pedal shield glitch while attacking with White Nova against 2 or more of these big white dragon things, then the game will drop frames. For all intents and purposes, this is actually a very well-coded game, because it takes a glitch to even drop the frame rate at all in-game. And yeah, the background is really cool. Like, casually, this is an excellent stage. Really helps set the atmosphere. Neat jump there to avoid the platform. Wait a little and then go. I have never made this first try in a marathon setting. Ooh. And I immediately screw up the next one by not knowing where to go. I giveth and I taketh away. But yeah, that skips a boss rush. Well, not a boss rush, but a mook rush. So theoretically, it could save a solid 15 or 30 seconds if you don't immediately fall off like an imbecile afterward. Next is here, I believe. Yeah, this looks right. Is the fancy platforming easy? Depends on how comfortable you are with analog controls, really, because a lot of that precision platforming requires holding specific angles. So, if you're comfortable doing that on an analog stick, then it is relatively easy. That platform almost left me behind. Just got one more mook rush. The nice thing about these dragons is that they have 2 hitboxes, and if you have a 2-handed sword, then you can hit both of them at the same time. I make platforming look easy. I make English sound hard. Alright, now to not fall off of this one and die this time. There we go. And that's the final stage. The following 20 minutes of this run will exclusively be boss fights. We've got a total of 4 of them in store for you, and if I can get through all of them in one piece, I will be most happy with this. I may or may not have been hardened by the hellish experience of running Monachemia on a graveyard shift. That changed me. I am a broken man. Yeah, it's just past 1 a.m. here. I've also been restreaming for 9 hours. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to speed up this stage, so instead we get to listen to Astrolab. Also, can we appreciate how good this set piece looks? Alright. Zext, having finally reached the game's draw distance, is ready to face us. This fight can potentially be very fast if I do it correctly. It involves maintaining a strength chain and using White Nova at the start of his second phase. And yes, oh my god, this game needs a PC release. This game needs to be freed from the jail of PlayStation Portable / PlayStation Vita so badly. It would make the run a good 30 minutes to an hour faster, too. So here's Zext's little gimmick. I gotta destroy that orb before I can destroy him proper. In the meantime, he'll be firing off a whole slew of attacks from the comfort of his little shield thing. Okay, I have my chain. Perfect. Fast phase 2 will lead to a fast phase 3. There we go. Very solid fight, except for one small blip at the end. I don't know if I'll get sub 255 Zex 2. It'll be close. I think my PB for normal ending, which ends immediately after this boss fight, is around a 251. No, all of the orbs on the field share health, so if you destroy one, you destroy them all. Apologies for the frame drops there. My capture card is having a bit of a difficult time. Anyway, here's a big boy. This is the final boss of the normal ending. How do you pronounce my name? My name is pronounced Schtolteheim. I do not care how you pronounce it yourself, because it took me the longest time to get it right myself. Anyway, Selim and Kureha are back to normal for some reason. I don't know, I kinda just stopped caring about the plot 5 minutes ago. And Nihilistic Idol is my favorite boss theme. Here we go. Okay, decent phase 1. I'm gonna try to keep my chain here by using these shockwaves on the ground. Ooh, he was really kind. He only fired one. I should be able to keep my chain now. Okay, whichever one he fires next, I can destroy, leading me on to the next phase. Gotta gear buster these things open. And now his head is exposed. Nice guard. On to the final phase now. I've got to be very careful not to screw this up. Once he lowers his tail... Go! And that is Zext. Normal ending done in 2:55:51. Not a bad time at all for a marathon. Those of you who have played Tokyo Xanadu and Ys 8 will remember that those games had additional content after their normal ending. However, this is not where the game ends, and I apologize for being misleading in my commentary. This is the normal ending, and the category for this run is the true ending, which will include another 20-ish minutes of content. There are still some plot threads that we've yet to resolve, such as the fact that the world is incredibly unstable and about to blow up. So we've got to do something about it, and we decide, like all good JRPG protagonists, to sacrifice one of our party members. This time, the unfortunate lady on the chopping block is Noi. And if you're playing the fan translation, there's a really unfortunate typo here that ruins all of the drama and seriousness in this scene. The fan translation is such a meme. So, Noi does her whole heroic sacrifice thing. One more round of overwhelming emotions plays. Fan translation later than 2015. It received a very light edit around 2017. What's the typo? Do you remember when we first met becomes, do you remember when we first me? But yeah, there was a very light edit to the fan translation in 2017. It doesn't really help much. And with an FMV cutscene I skipped, the world is all fixed. This would be a perfectly fine ending to leave the game on. It's bittersweet, it resolves a lot of plot threads, and overall it's just a really solidly developed ending. I like it a lot. I think it's a great point to conclude this admittedly rough saga of a very well-refined game. And then we have the true ending. Wait. Yep, there we go. I almost thought that said quit to title screen. It's evident I haven't played this game in a while. So this is the after story. It takes place a year after the events of the main game. Nayuta and Lyra are finally reconciling with each other, and they're ready to go on a date. My god, romance is progressing in a Falcom game. Eat your heart out, Reen Cold Steel Schwarzer. You'll notice I gained a bucket ton of levels from that fight. We just gotta do a saunter over to the cliff, where we meet Lyra and are ready to conduct our little festivities. But something has to ruin it. Lyra Burton will not be granted her resolution, because every single time, she will be blocked by Noi. This time, she's risen from the dead. I wouldn't say it's quite as egregious as Dragon Quest XI, but it's definitely a problem that a lot of Falcom games have. Ys 8 is notorious for it, as is Tokyo Xanadu. So we've got yet more stuff to do in Terra. Before we do that, though, I am going to quickly go over here. I can't trigger this yet. Strange. I think I was supposed to do that before all of that plot happened. Anyway. Into Terra we go, and something's not really right here. Selim and Kureha are both here, but they're both unconscious. Something seems to have happened within the Astrolab that caused both of them to investigate and then get trapped within it. And as a failsafe for the Astrolab losing Noi, one of its administrators, it created a duplicate Noi in its place. It's unfortunate that we only get this Noi now, because she is infinitely less annoying than her main game counterpart. It's also unfortunate that we only get her now, because we never use her. These next two boss fights will be Nayuta only. So real quick, I've got to go back to Remnant Island. And I've got to request some lunchboxes from Eartha. In particular, I'm going to make one of these, which will allow me to then hold a second lunchbox. This will be my safety food for the final boss fights. And then I'm going to make the rest of these to see if I can get to level 35, and I can. Now to the Stellarium. Yes, a whole bunch of levels open up here. We're going to do none of them. The game recommends that you be level 50 for this fight. We're level 35. We'll be fine. Into the Astrolab we venture. I'm gonna die? Yeah, probably. Immediately, we are greeted by the Astrolabs Guardian. This is the most difficult boss fight in the game. Guarding is absolutely paramount here, because you don't have Gear Shield, you don't have any arts, you don't have any crafts, it's just you. This is basically when the game goes full Ys. If I can at least make it through this fight using only one lunchbox, I'll be happy, because the second phase is also very difficult. That was a very early guard. I'm surprised I got it. Okay, this is the stuff I want to see, because when he uses his other arm and swipes overhead like that, I can still attack without having to guard. Okay, this hand should be down. There we go. Sorry, I'm not going to be talking much during this fight. I need to concentrate. Hitting these flash guards is a fair bit more difficult than it looks. 300 chain. Okay, this should be the end of phase 1. Now we have phase 2, where things get even more hectic. Okay, good. That's the attack I want to see, because it's very easy to dodge from here. That attack is fine, because when you raise the platform, it doesn't readjust his aiming to compensate. Okay, bombs. Those are fine, because I can outrun them. Okay. Should be good to start wailing on him now. You have to guard that. You can't avoid it with an air dodge because the hitbox lingers for too long. Okay, he's in his next phase. And I got hit when I really shouldn't have. Alright, where's he going? He's going right. Now there are fire bars on the ground. What platform is this? This is PSP. Okay, avoided that. Whoop. Ah, still got hit by it. Alright, I'm gonna have to guard these. Or not. I could just get hit. That also is a possible outcome. Now maintaining a chain gets even more difficult because of the fire on the ground. Oh, dear God! That was far too close a call. That was also a very close call. Okay, he's about 300 HP from his next phase. Ooh, I kept my chain. It doesn't really matter, though, because it doesn't increase the damage you do against these things. It just means I get to avoid taking another hit. Dodge. Okay, I'll take that hitbox over the other one. Yeah, this fight is very difficult. And I can't really find it in me to talk right now. Oh, wow, that was very lucky. Okay, thank God. Almost. This is the final repetition of doing this. You could theoretically make this faster by being at a higher level, but it would also cost you a fair bit of time in actually grinding. Okay, couple more strikes and he should be down. Got him! Oh my God. Well, that took a few years off of me. But it's not over yet. The final boss of Nayuta no Kiseki is Noi. Corrupted and tormented by the solitude she faced in the Astrolab. she now returns for one final fight. The theme for this battle is called For My Precious Friend, and I think it rings true here more than ever. Let's go. The key to this fight is to not stop moving. This is the original Noi we're fighting. And she is very, very tricky. Keeping up a strength chain is incredibly important here as well, because your main method of damaging her is by using these monsters that she spawns as fodder to fire at her, and they too are affected by the strength bonus from the chain. So you have to be very methodical, but you also have to be very quick. She has a brief invulnerability period here. After now, she should be vulnerable. And now she gains a new slew of attacks. This could be very tricky. Alright, what's she gonna do now? More tornadoes? That's fine. I can deal with tornadoes. It's the other attack that I'm worried about. That one? You just cannot stop moving in this fight. Oop. Should enter the next phase now. Yep, here we go. On to Autumn. The floor is now lava. And she can summon meteors now. Ooh. This phase is usually the slowest, for a variety of reasons. Almost got through it without damage, but I'll take this. Okay, I'm gonna pop my food for safety. The final phase is Summer, and she has one very difficult to avoid attack here. The other one is relatively tame. Okay, that's the tame one. It spawned behind me. Whoa. Very difficult to avoid with all of the wind jostling you around. We're almost there. Okay, we're on to the final phase. You don't have to redo the previous boss fight, but it is still a very time-consuming thing. There's one phase remaining. I'm fine taking damage here. I can tank it. Alright, just gotta do that one more time. I don't think I'll get sub 315. If I do, it'll be very close. And that's time. Oh my goodness. For a game that I had not even derusted, that I don't think I've run in a year, I will take a sub 315. Damn it, Snowfire. I was gonna get away with that. And as you can see from the schedule here, this will be the final run of the night for day 1 of Falcom RTA 2nd Chapter. I'm incredibly thankful that I got to show this off. I'm incredibly thankful that all of you in the chat enjoyed it. I'm thankful in everybody running and organizing alongside me. Without them, without you, without everyone, this marathon would not be what it is. So with that, I will let the credits play out, and that will end the first day of Falcom RTA 2nd Chapter. We'll be back bright and early in the morning tomorrow for Trails in the Sky the 3rd by Izayoi, followed by a whole bunch of Ys and Trails goodness. So, belatedly, and after a 12-hour shift, this is Schtolteheim, signing off. Take care, everybody, and have a good night.
星は世界を見つめる星が人を愛したみたいに僕も人を愛して生きよう